Metro City wakes to a sky that is cracked open. Lightning no longer falls, it coils upward. Serpents of pure light twisting into the clouds. Phones record the unnatural threads. Drones swarm like silver gnats. Gravity hiccups downtown. Paperclips lift. A coffee mug drifts to the lamppost. A taxi shudders and hangs for a heartbeat between asphalt and air. People laugh, then stop. The city hums. Emsky steps into the turmoil, shoulders tight against the electric thrum. His skin smells of ozone. Tiny arcs crawl over his knuckles. He recognizes the voice in the weather, familiar, but warped and raw. He leans toward the sky and whispers, "Something's wrong with the lightning." Word spreads and a warning answers. Dr. Aurora Vale arrives in midnight blue, a scientist with stormlight in her eyes. She pulls Emsky through narrow alleys to a hidden lab where thunder is studied like scripture. The facility is full of humming storm chambers, glass devices holding crystalline bolts suspended in field cages, and walls lined with instruments that map impossible geometries. She plays a recording. Footage from the night he was changed, seen from outside himself. The frame trembles, and then opens a rip like an eye. Not tearing, but folding, spilling storm silver into the world. "You weren't struck by lightning," Vale says, voice steady as a barometer. "You were chosen by something beyond our dimension." Emsky studies the rip on the screen, feeling the old pain as a memory and as a threat. His power tastes different now, eager, dangerous. He answers quietly, not sure whether he's grateful or afraid, chosen or caught in the crossfire. In the lab's low glow, the rift seems to listen. Outside, downtown bolts braid together, whispering a name that none of them can yet pronounce aloud now. Cracks tore open the sky over Metro City from Vale's experiments. From those seams slithered storm creatures, riftborn, lightning-shaped shadows that glide like ghosts and strike like thunder. They threaded between towers and scorched neon signs. Emsky became a streak, chasing them across rooftops and trains. The riftborn matched his speed, mirrored his moves, adapting to every feint. For the first time since Shadow Flash, he struggled to outmaneuver them. He fought through rain-slick alleys and beneath bridges lit with electric bloom. One riftborn summoned a portal into an intersection. Another curled around a water tower like smoke. When a seam refused to close, he drove a bolt through the portal and snapped it shut. The creature collapsed, but each victory left a trace. Pale motes of rift energy clung to his skin, whispering like static. Vale pulled him into a flashpoint chamber and said plainly, "The rift answers possibility who you might become." They opened the chamber to controlled rift energy. The air hummed, visions unfolded. He saw himself crowned as a lightning tyrant, Metro City under rule of fear. He saw himself buried beneath rubble, civilians wailing because he was late. He saw himself consumed from within, lightning burning him to nothing. Each vision ended the same way, with a cold whisper, "Choose." Emsky woke trembling. Doubt gnawed at him. Rifts began to ripple across the skyline. Buildings warped like water reflections. People floated in gravity bubbles. Thunder boomed with no clouds. Riftborn surged in overwhelming numbers, and Metro City teetered toward collapse. Raw power would not save it. Fear would not save it. He remembered the visions not as fate but as warnings he could deny. He chose who he would be. He chose hope. He ran back into the storm, light focused like a promise. Wind screams around the unfinished lightning spire as Emsky races up its scaffolding toward the largest tear, a spiraling vortex yawning at the tower's peak. Points of cold blue lightning kiss rusted beams. Vale's voice crackles in his ear, urgent. "If you go in, I can't guarantee you'll come back." Emsky pauses only long enough to grin. When have I ever been guaranteed anything? He vaults the last girder and dives into the breach. Inside the rift, reality unthreads. Colors burn like living thunder. At its center floats the lightning core, a heart of energy, alive and pulsing. Veins of light writhing across its surface. Whispers loop at the edge of his mind, honeyed and hungry. Power, destiny, become more. Emsky shuts his eyes against the whispering, feeling the temptation like heat on his skin. "I'm not here for power. I'm here to protect them," he answers, voice steady. He slams both hands into the core. Electricity screams, tasting him, probing. He gathers every ounce of lightning he is, emptying himself into the wound, a deliberate, defiant tide. The rift fights back, flashes of impossible geometry folding and tearing. But his resolve holds. Light winds up and breaks. The core collapses inward, as if being wound shut. The world erupts in a storm of brilliance. For a terrible, breathless second, he is everywhere and nowhere. Then, gravity reasserts itself. Emsky crashes through the unfinished roof and into the spire courtyard, burned out and breathing. Alive. The sky clears. The Riftborn vanish like ash on the wind. Dr. Vale is there, face wet and tired. You did it, but this isn't over. She studies the faint electric tracery along his forearms. The rift recognized you, she says, and now it's watching. Emsky looks over his city, shoulders squared, lightning flickering like a second pulse. Then let it. I'm not going anywhere. The breach is sealed, but a thin thread binds him to whatever lies beyond a hero remade, forever connected. Metro City hums with uneasy energy. The rift incident left a scar in the sky and a rumor in every alley. People whisper about Emsky's new cosmic lightning. Some call it miracle, others accuse it of tearing reality. Conspiracy channels feed the fear. Street preachers call him angel or abomination. A broken sigil begins to appear everywhere. A jagged circle around a fractured lightning bolt. It bleeds across brick, flashes on hijacked billboards, even blooms like smoke projected into the clouds above the city. On a rain-swept rooftop, Emsky watches the symbol drift on neon steam. He breathes cold light, listens to the city argue about him. When he sees that mark, he murmurs, "That's not me." He is certain. He knows someone else is shaping the narrative. Beneath the abandoned veins of the old metro, far from cameras and the sky's witness, encrypted invitations slide into unknown inboxes. Old enemies, former rivals, those left behind by his rise, descend into shadow. They enter a chamber lit by flickering crimson torches and the hum of ancient machinery. Metal echoes like distant thunder. Waiting at the center is Red Eye Prime, a resurrection of red steel and machine-wrought vengeance. One ocular core burns like a deep ember, scanning for weakness and devotion alike. Around him converge pieces of shattered legend. Tempest Echo, a living shard of storm trapped in glass and rune. Etched Containment, Shadow Flash Reborn, a figure splintered across moments. Eyes reflecting yesterday and tomorrow. Techstorm Dissident, a tactical intelligence rekindled as a whispering lattice of light and iron. They do not cheer for conquest. They speak of a different aim, to fracture hope itself, to turn the city's belief into a blade they can wield. The Fractured League forms not to kill only, but to unmake the myth that holds Metro together. Above, Emsky senses a new pattern in the storm. Below, the League sets its pieces. The city waits, and the first move is already in motion. After the lightning rift sealed, 3 sparks appeared across the city's rooftops. Dashley, a teenage sprinter, explodes into blinding speed but collapses if she holds it. Flux can quicken objects, stones, gears, raindrops, while his own pulse stays ordinary. Jack's Volt births short lightning hops, tiny teleporting dashes that leave singed air behind. They find Emsky beneath the old watchtower, rain turning neon into veins. He still remembers the rift's visions, versions of himself twisted by thunder, smiling with hunger. He hesitates, teach them wrong, and that hunger might spread. They look up anyway, trusting in the lines of his palms. He accepts. The Lightning Academy begins on a rooftop. Unofficial, messy, alive. Dashley times bursts between chimneys. Flux practices accelerating a falling cup, then a cartwheel. Jax shortens his hops until each step is a precise spark. They laugh when mistakes flare, argue about technique, and stumble into small triumphs. Emsky teaches restraint, the cadence of current, how to carry charge without becoming charge himself. Then the Fractured League strikes. First, a blackout swallows downtown as Tempest Echo pours electric storms into the flooded avenues. Second, Shadow Flash Reborn traps families in repeating seconds, forcing Emsky to bend rules and pry time open to free them. Third, Techstorm Dissident corrupts the emergency grid, sending false alerts that scatter responders and breed panic. The city begins to doubt. Headlines cry, "Has Emsky lost control of his own lightning?" He answers every call rising over subway grates, diving through glass corridors, coaxing arcs to push doors open, stretched thin by attacks designed to drain him. From shadowed towers, the League watches. Red-Eye Prime smiles and whispers, he can't protect a city divided. Beneath the iron ribs of the city, Emsky squares off with Red-Eye Prime in a subway arena braided with ghostly lightning. Metal rails sing. Shadows click like gears. Red-Eye moves with cold calculation, faster, precise, merciless. His cybernetics read angles, predict breaths, turn Emsky's instincts into predictable math. You still fight like a blunt instrument, Red-Eye taunts, voice like grinding circuits. And you fight like a calculator with an ego, Emsky answers, breath tasting of ozone and defiance. Red-Eye overwhelms him, each strike a theorem. Emsky staggers, armor dented, spirit raw. Then, like a chorus taught in midnight drills, the protégés converge. Dashley redirects a collapsing span of rubble into a shimmering arc, a glittering bridge that buys a heartbeat. Flux wrings speed from stray metal shards, turning them into a storm that blinds circuitry. Jack's Volt lightning hops across sparking ties, a human lightning rod that launches Emsky toward a strike. They move as lessons made living. Their tactics are rough, improvisational, yet threaded with Emsky's stubborn logic. Together they force Red-Eye back, his crimson optic flaring with frustrated calculus. As Red-Eye retreats into the tunnels, Emsky stands in the ozone light and realizes the truth that had been missing. He is not alone. In a hidden sanctum, the fractured League gathers, plotting. Red-Eye slams a fist and proclaims the failure inexplicable. A TechStorm dissident replies, cool and synthetic. That adaptation, not victory, altered fate. Tempest Echo warns that a larger storm approaches, while Shadow Flash Reborn murmurs of a future in the rift, where Emsky becomes something terrible. Red-Eye unveils a sprawling, fractured city blueprint, a plan to rip symbols from the populace before the man can be broken. The city braces. Unknowingly, Emsky has birthed an army of hope.
Emsky.